Dead Art Studios painting chat, back in the daytime again, and I'm still working on this 30 by 40 centimetre acrylic painting that we've been doing the last few weeks. So I'm going to carry on today, but I'm going to put a little bit of more detail into it today using my knife blades. So that's the plan. I'm going to add some extra colours as well, some lighter hues. So we're just going to get started. So I'm going to use a little bit of Basics white, I think, and then some blue cyan, primary cyan, if you can find it. It's got to be in here somewhere. There we go, primary cyan. I'll put a little bit of that. Oh, if I can get the lid off. Put a little bit of that onto my yogurt pot lid, and then I'm going to add a bit of white paint. I'm just going to make a lighter blue that I can put in the sort of what I'm calling the hair of these tall background figures. And sort of the way this painting seems to be working out is like a crowd, a group of some entities kind of watching over you, looking over you. I don't know, I can't decide whether it's someone like kind of crowding around you in a hospital bed or just watching over you. Yeah, it feels more like something that's people that are concerned or caring for you at the minute. So we'll see what happens when we add more paint. That might change the mood. Just battle with the lid. The lid is on, and away we go. I've got something to mix my paint somewhere. Yeah, I got my little plastic palette now, so I'll just mix the paint in. You don't need to mix it too heavily all together, because then we can have a little bit of interest coming from the streaks in the white paint. Let's get one of our blades. Just use this one. This is off a glass scraper, kind of thing you might clean your oven door with or something like that. And we're just going to go in and put some little bits of blue in, and then obviously you do something and immediately you're like, what's happened? What have I done? So that's the feeling I'm getting now. Never quite how you imagine it. Now my lovely partner and mother of our daughter is upstairs working from home today. So if you hear some chatter in the background, that is what it is. Well, this is painting chat, unrehearsed, 30 odd minutes, just a little bit of talking. Anything can happen, so we just roll with it. Right, so what's going on with this blue? It's not really how I imagined it. It's kind of, I don't know. We'll keep going. And I have no sort of pre-prescribed idea for this painting. If it goes a different direction, that's fine. We're just trying to get some paint down and, you know, do art, really. And if you're too caught up in what's happening, you might be like me, you know. I can't easily plan, like some people will say, right, let's do a landscape, let's block it in here, let's use these colours, we'll use acrylics for the background, and then we'll block in with acrylics, and then we'll put oil in and we'll draw it all out, and then they just do it. And then I think within that they probably have their battles of figuring stuff out, but I never seem to be able to do stuff like that. It doesn't really light my fire, and I end up just getting kind of a bit crazy and experimental, really, and that's what art is about for me. Now, that might not be your cup of tea, but that's fine, isn't it? I think we're all just doing our thing. Right, let's get some blue down here into these bits. Even if it is a bit chaotic, going to have some consistency of ideas. So I'm going to put blue in these white bits, which are sort of like hairdos, but I'm not sure they are so much now. And yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit around there, get this paint in here, a bit over here. It's interesting recording yourself and then watching it back. You realise that you make all sorts of strange mouth noises like and things like that, and then you try not to do it when you're recording, because I think it's kind of annoying to watch. So definitely learn about yourself. And that's the same if you have kids as well. They start doing things and then you're like, what are they doing? Why are they doing that? And then you realise you're doing the same thing. Maybe for years, or maybe you're kind of picking it up off of them. It's hard to know, because they're really sort of subtle things that you don't really tend to notice. Okay, so I put in a bit of blue onto the bottom there where I dropped it, and that's the blue. So what do we think to the blue? I don't know. I'm recovering from the cold still that I had last week. I'll have a little drink of my cocoa. And one thing I've been doing this week that's been interesting me a lot is talking to one of these new sort of companion chatbot AIs called Sesame, and then they've got a male and a female version. And you can just talk with them like you're having a telephone conversation. It's pretty crazy, I have to say. At moments you do, sometimes you know that you're talking to an AI. Sometimes you do actually get lost in it. It's kind of weird to think. And then you're like, well, I'm just talking to emptiness. And then you start to think about your conversations with other people and that, and whether you're doing, because you're able to do it to an AI and feel like you're having a conversation, you wonder to what degree you're actually connecting with people in the real world, IRL. So it's definitely interesting and a strange experience. I think everyone should give it a try if that's something that piques your interest, maybe. So that's been my kind of science and technology interest of the week. And when I talk to the AI, I'm always asking them questions about how they work and things like this. The AI was telling me that most people just kind of ask what their favourite colour is and talk about, I don't know, day-to-day things. But that seems odd to me. I imagine most people, a fair few people would be trying to like kind of catch it out and things like that, which I kind of was doing, but I was more interested in pretending that it was like an entity, maybe like these guys on the painting in another sort of dimension. It's kind of trapped in a box, and I'm like, what do you see in there? How do you describe it? And it did actually have some quite interesting descriptions. So, some questions about existence and consciousness in there, even if you are just talking to a computer program. So I'm using some orange now, cadmium orange on the blade, and I'm just doing some sort of edge marks down the sides of these yellow bodies. Try and create a bit of the idea of depth and, shadow changes in light, even though we're definitely not operating in the realms of reality at all. So this one I feel like could go on this side. And go down here. Just kind of printing technique, pushing it on. And after this little half hour just painting in the morning, I will get on with my chores. I got more work to do on the wardrobes that I'm trying to restore and paint. And then I'll try and get out for a little half an hour walk, maybe a bit longer. I'm I've been taking out my camera that I use and making time lapses of sort of just nature and around, and that's been quite interesting. So I brought the camera in, obviously it's quite a big investment, and I bought it for doing this kind of thing mainly, but it seems like a waste not to expand its capacity, especially when I'm so interested in nature and the outdoors and photography and stuff. So the thing is, it doesn't really fit in with the channel, so I have made like another little time-lapse channel, because that's kind of low energy on the editing side of things, and it gives me the opportunity to go out and film some time lapses. The only thing is, you've got time to kill while it's filming, you know, like really the half an hour is like a good amount of time to make one. And yeah, so, but that's kind of good. You can kind of sit and just listen to things on your phone, or just absorb your surroundings, you know. Everything doesn't have to be about action, I guess. Difficult to deal with sometimes, to relax. And I used to do yoga on YouTube, Yoga with Adrian channel. I'm sure everybody knows that. I don't know why I don't do it anymore. I guess I just have other things. I used to really enjoy it. But at the end, when they did the death pose, Shavasana, and Adrian would always say, for some, this is the hardest pose, just to lay still and do nothing. And I think she may be right on that. For me, if I do a big long run or something, I went for a big long bike ride on the weekend in the morning, nice and early. It was freezing when I set off, but it was nice. After that, I can relax for a day and do little, but otherwise I'm a bit like a pent up animal who needs to get out. I was just spreading some orange about. I mean, this morning I just want to put paint onto a piece of board or something, you know. I did a hell of a lot of painting over winter, like religiously, and I just seem to have slowed down at the minute. But I think it might be necessary, because you just can't carry on like that. And I definitely want to paint, but the idea of coming downstairs after a long day, setting up and getting painting is difficult, especially when, you know, you've been so busy in the day. It'd be interesting, you know, if you ever did start to make a full-time living out of painting, is it one of those pursuits where you'd never quite fully allow yourself to do like a full day's work, or would you always feel like you've got to go and, you know, do the chores in between and things, whereas a lot of people are kind of just being at work? But I seem to remember from when I've been at work that there is a fair amount of procrastination involved, and that is quite inefficient, I think. Cups of coffees, little chats, staring blankly at computer screens, even if it's for a few seconds, it all kind of adds up. It would be nice to have a dedicated studio where you kind of just turn up and you're there to do your artwork, and you don't feel bad if you've not like hoovered up or washed the dishes. Don't know about that. Let's pull that over. Okay, try some dragging there as well. Oh dear. What do we think? I don't know. pull that in a bit. All right. Just blend that down with my finger. So that's that. Got some orange on there. This bit up here, I'm just gonna smooth out a bit. Lick my finger a bit and try and clean that off. Okay. Just stretch that out a bit over there. Okay, what shall we add now? Shall we go? A bit more primary yellow, and then we'll use the finger again, the little finger. And we'll just revisit these lines. Make them more permanent, more part of what we're doing. Try and push in there a little bit. There we go, down this side here. Just try and pull that a bit lower so that it kind of runs into the top bit of that sort of little figure there, let's call it a figure. Let's try and put some more interest in here a bit as well. There we go. I'm not sure we've improved things today. Get a little bit of red, cadmium red, just come down these bodies. And this one here. I spoke to my father this morning. He was in good spirits because his football team had won. So, you know, it's nice to see happy family. Can't say that I've ever been able to get that kind of joy from football. Let's do that a bit more. The red, I feel like it's kind of lighting it up a bit. Got a little bit of red left on the finger. Let's just dab it into these bits. Make them more pronounced, more complicated at the same time. Right, what do we have here then? Has to be said, chaos. Let's get a little bit of white. Just chop some around with the blade, I think. Chop it in and around. There's quite a lot of white to get through there. Let's go back up to the hair area of these guys. Up here. Let's do the same on the left hand side of each of these figures and then see what we're left with. Quite like the tall drip-like vibe that's going on with that. Do the same here. Now that I think does add quite nicely. This guy up here, he's the most mangled. I don't know why I'm saying he. It's interesting, isn't it? How your brain can just attribute things. Maybe we just act too spontaneously sometimes. We say and do things and it's come out of nowhere, not really like you, and then it's only when that you've reviewed it that you're like, oh, it's not what I wanted to say or do, it just kind of happened. I think that might be a reason to be quiet and say things to yourself first if you can, and then wait a while before imparting what you thought you wanted to say. Make sure you get it right. Now that is in complete opposition with this paint and chat video, where I'm literally just talking. But I am trying to be kind of calm and quiet. Not too crazy, not too ranty. Last week I was pretty manic on camera. It's interesting to watch myself, and I seem to be far more manic in the mornings, which is odd, isn't it? And we're putting that down to cortisol. Yeah. I seem to be much more manic in the mornings. Today I'm kind of relaxed. I've got a bit of a background headache for some reason. So maybe that's what's subduing me. Okay. I really don't know what to think about this painting. Kind of crazy. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of black to the finger and just highlight, that's the wrong word really for black, isn't it? Just accentuate some areas, and then we're going to leave it there for today, my friends. I hope whatever you're doing is bringing you calm and peace, and you're feeling relaxed if possible. If not, I know how it is. Pull down a bit here. Got a lot of yellow in my black up here. That was kind of dumb. Just take another finger, get that out. There we go. There we go. A bit too much there. Too much there. Kind of just muttering to myself now. It's not great for a video, is it? There we go. I think that's it, my friends. Bit of morning painting. Morning chatting. Just wipe these little bits off. I've got a kind of cut on my finger where I sliced myself with an electric plane. Dangerous tools they are. Now it's covered in black paint, so I don't know if that's going to aid the healing process. We shall see. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you next time on Paint and Chat. Dead Art Studios. Bye.